much for staying with Daybreak. We've extended the time a bit because it's a very important conversation we're having on the plight of small-scale traders. We have several of them with us in studio giving us the reasons why they think more needs to be done to facilitate their businesses. The hashtag is Daybreak. 22422 is the SMS line. 0719777777 is the number you can use to call at Citizen TV Kenya, at Trevor Mbija, and at Wega Moore, and at also at Zinzi K. We'll sample some of your views at the tail end of this broadcast. But let's bring in a trader and a business person who's also with us. The final comment before we get that final round of comments from our panelists. Go ahead, sir. Start with your name.
Okay, thank you. I'm Githaiga Nelson from Mudhuru Hawkers Market. I will be not on the side of the importers, but I will be on the side of the receiving end from the importers. As traders, we deal with some of the items like households, textile, and assorted items. So when we are talking of trade clearance from the from KRA, we on our receiving end, we are talking of fluctuation of prices. When goods are traded at the port, when goods are traded from where they imported, on our receiving end we are talking of fluctuation of prices, because as traders we solely depend on these importers, small scale traders. So we are looking on a situation where we are waiting for clearance for goods from Mombasa or any other place where goods are cleared, while as traders we are waiting for them to buy so that the consumer can get them from us. So that's a situation that we are seeing as a situation that the government needs to intervene to save the situation of a trader who consumer depends on him or her.
All right.
So we're also looking for a situation where as a government we have in the fundamental rights in the Constitution of Kenya, where we have with the social and economic rights. What are what kind of protection is the assembly or the government offering for the purposes of protecting these consumers? We also have the environmental right. The environment we are operating in as traders, as importers, is not conducive in our country. So we need to focus on how do we protect these people, focusing on our constitution. Okay. We are also looking on a situation where we are operating at different levels, from the low economy to the upper economy. So mostly for us as traders, we are working on an informal system, where our government is not putting effort to formalize the informal sector. Because we are depending solely on employment, but the informal sector is not formalized yet. So we would seek from the government side, because the informal sector is taking almost 70% of self-employed people. They are also boosting in terms of our GDP. They are the economy movers, selling in small portions, selling in few items we are selling. We are doing business on a daily basis. So we would seek the intervention of our government to formalize the sector. The SME should be formalized so that the job creation system should not focus on employment in the official way. Okay. But should focus on the sector as kind of part of the government employment system.
Thank you so much there, trader there, just sharing his thoughts. And those are the last comments we get from the traders because we need our panel to quickly respond. Where do we start? Sam, I think you've been a bit quiet. Let's hear from you first. Your final thoughts. You've been taking a lot of notes.
Yes.
What's important as we leave, as we finish up today's discussion?
Maura, I'm just listening to the traders, and there's a point that one of the panelists has told me here. We have to create strong associations. You see, when you look at KEPSA, when you look at KEM, they looked at their industry and they saw that they have to create a strong front to be able to agitate from that end. And that is why we have Importers and Small Trade Association of Kenya, so that we can be able to agitate on behalf of the small medium entrepreneurs. I'd like to answer my brother Githaiga on that as a CEO of ISTA, I would tell us as traders, because we are all traders, let's join an association that is strong, that is going to be able to agitate the government, sit down with the government, push the government to make sure that the policies that they are putting in place are policies which are minding about our businesses. The other thing I would like to say is that we have an issue with the COC. And ideally, the COC is supposed to cover value, quantity, and quality. But basically, the COC covers quality. So you find that that's why there is a lot of stripping when it comes to the port of Mombasa. Can we have a COC that once you have your goods packed, you get your goods in Nairobi in the shortest time possible? And that's what we are telling the government, that they are supposed to streamline that.
Well, these are some of the proposals you made in State House.
Yes.
Did you get any commitments on
Yes,
that?
we got commitments from the government.
So how soon will that be streamlined?
They said 3 weeks. We are waiting to see.
Okay.
Because we have numbers, and you know, if they don't act with this, there's what we do to agitate. There's another issue that we have is consolidators. There's something Mheshimiwa said here about accreditation or act. The issues with the traders, all of us, let's agree, consolidators, because consolidators have been actually working with some KRA officials, and it's known. It was even discussed there. There are some ragged of KRA guys who are working with the consolidators to kufinyilia wana biashara. And the most important thing that we have to do is to bring that accreditation act, that every consolidator, and actually the president said is going to publish that list. Let us know who we are giving our goods when you go to China. How can I have an engagement with you? I give you goods worth 300,000 or 400,000 shillings. I don't know your name. I've just been directed to you by an individual in Kenya. We don't have any agreement, no paperwork, nothing. And I trust you to bring those goods in Nairobi. You know, we have been acting in a very informal, rugged way. And that's why you have to have structures. And that's why I'm asking, like, for example, our traders here, whoever is not a member of ISTA, because we are agitating on behalf of small, medium entrepreneurs, register with us so that you can be able to do that. Finally, let me say this. KRA and KEBS must be able to clear that bureaucracy that is there. One of the traders said here that when you have your own brand, it's not a crime. That is your brand, that is your innovation, that is your invention. You're supposed to give them the shortest time possible. Why should you stay for 3-4 months to get clearance from KEBS? Let us lessen the time. And one time we talked with the managing director of KEBS, and let me just say it on air, my good friend Nguyo. He said that they need capacity building in that institution. Let the government know that these are the people who are the driving force of the economy. We contribute to over half of the GDP. And 98% of all the businesses in Kenya are small, medium entrepreneurs. Only 2% are corporates. But you find that the corporates take preeminence when it comes to even decision making. We have structured ourselves as small, medium entrepreneurs, and we are going to agitate from our end so that we can make sure that the government delivers to the small, medium entrepreneurs. And as the Uber guy said, we are not going to be bought. We are going to make sure that the government, the word that the president said has been executed, and everything that the president said about the small, medium entrepreneurs, you are going to see to it that each and every small, medium entrepreneur in this country has a stake in the decision making. So by extension, the traders should also hold you accountable, because now you are the link between them and the president directly. Definitely, yes. All right. And we are going to be on air. I know you are going to give us more time even to do that. Especially when you don't execute on the promises. We are ready. Finally, the task force that is supposed to be liaising with the president has how many members, and where are they from? For the benefit of okay, I can't say how many members because we are so many people, but from all the agencies, we are from ACA, from KEBS, from KRA, and also from even the police, because, you know, the security sector, and also the small, medium entrepreneurs, KEPSA and KEM. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Maryanne, your last thoughts on this discussion?
Yeah, I think what's coming out for me is no one likes uncertainty. You know, it's not just entrepreneurs as well, but for funders, for lenders. If I'm not able to price for risk, because I don't know if your goods are going to come when they say they will come, then ultimately, you know, it doesn't benefit anyone. So I think it's in all our interests that we take an ecosystem approach, that nobody's going to do this by themselves. True. If government sits in a corner and makes policy alone, it's not useful for you. But again, government constantly says we do not listen to single entrepreneurs. So I think I want to encourage that effort to have strong sector associations. Government listens to numbers, government listens to associations. And I think for me, the other thing to say is you're not alone. The organizations that are supporting entrepreneurs as well have come together and formed together an association they're calling Association of Startup and SME Enablers. They're also having these conversations. ASEC. They're also having this conversation with this government. Absolutely. And I think this should tie together, because we are saying the same thing, but we are saying from different places. So wearing an ecosystem hat and not just thinking about our sector. And I think the last thing I also want to say is every problem is also an opportunity in disguise. And I think for me, the incentives are shifting to local production, because if it becomes too expensive for us to import things from outside, then perhaps we should strongly think about, you know, starting local, as hard as it is, but it's more sustainable. You're more in control of your destiny. And to young people who like technology, this is a sector that's ripe for disruption. You know, we hear people talking about blockchain. We use blockchain to make supply chains more transparent. And what I'm hearing here is a lot of opacity. So I think it's also an opportunity, you know, when you flip it in the other side.
That way.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, you have the last word. What are you taking back to your trade committee? What are you taking to Parliament?
Sorry. I've listened to the traders, issue of delays, issue of COC, issue of local manufacture, issue of the costs, then issue of public participation. I take it upon myself, through the relevant committees and other committees, we will have to look at these things in details, and hopefully in the next few days and or few months, we should have at least have a clear policy on how to manage these issues.
All right. Do we have any other final remarks from our audience members? Any final word from any of you?
Yeah, sure.
All right, go ahead.
Maybe I should just ask our government to come in and help the small traders, because, you know, however much it doesn't seem to appear in the limelight, we control the market actually. So at the moment we are able to sell, we are able to raise more capital, and therefore the government will not have to borrow money out of the country.
Okay.
All right.
We hope to have and as they pass the mic across, we hope to have these traders back at the end of the year, November. If the cries are still the same,
Some
there's a
will also
problem.
be here. Yes,
They are still in November. If we are still here talking about 1,000 containers,
No, we shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
Briefly, last thoughts. Briefly.
I would also want to urge KRA to have a human face.
The tax man.
We have been dealing with a monster that we don't understand. And through ISTA, because they already have an established office in Kirinyaga Road, I would urge ACA, KEBS, and KRA to have their people sitting down there so that traders can walk in there. Because, you know, sometimes it is very hard. You have your 5 cartons. You want to pay duty for them. You don't know which office to get into at Times Tower. But it will be so easy if they came down to the people who actually pay those taxes. Let them educate us on how to pay taxes, because we haven't refused to pay taxes. Let them give us the standards. Let them clearly tell us what is counterfeit, what is contraband. We don't know.
Civic education.
Okay. Thank you. Let's get a comment from you and then pass it to them. Yeah.
Okay. Mine is just about the consolidators. At least if we will have a body that will regulate them on the prices that they give us. You know, nowadays the competition is now against poverty. You're not making any profit. You just want to be in the line that you're not poor. I mean,
at least break even.
Yes. Okay. At least if there's a body that can regulate the freight charges they give us, it will be better.
All right, very briefly.
Okay, I would like to urge the government when they are dealing with the issue of the delayment of the containers to have a special way. Because if you have imported maybe a food stuffs and you have experienced some delays a few months ago, so even if the container will be released, some of them already have expired. So you get a loss instead of profit. They can look for a proper way.
All right, final remarks from the vehicle.
My final remarks will be on the issue of policies. Let the government stop being selfish, let them stop being corrupt, and come up with policies that are going to help them
All right.
the small traders.
Straight to the point, yes.
Okay, one last thing. Those people in charge of checking counterfeit, we are losing our items. They're opening the boxes, our boxes.
So the mic closer to your mouth?
Yeah, we are losing our items. I'll say lost or stolen. We are losing our items. We are getting less of what we ordered.
As they check for counterfeit?
Yes.
So is this because they have to take them for verification, or are you saying that they take more samples?
They are stealing our items.
Have you reported these instances?
Whom do we report to?
The police.
Police perhaps get an OB number.
And so you have the documentation that shows you're expecting 20?
Yes.
And you get half.
Half?
Even if they reported the shoes, they will take the shoes, they will take the camera.
And then you see the systems in the
use the microphone.
Use the mic.
Use the microphone.
This really is the last word. You have the last word. Go ahead, sir. Give him the mic. Yeah, you're saying shoes?
Yeah. If you imported second-hand shoes, they'll open a sack, they'll cut it with a knife, and they'll look in the industry we call them the cameras. They'll pick them. Yeah, those are the best. They'll pick them. Then when you receive that sack, it's a half of it. Even if you take it to the market, you cannot to reach the price that you're expecting to sell it.
All right.
Yeah.
You wanted to make
so
a
they are
final
thieves,
remark.
has to be checked off after by the government.
Okay. Very briefly, final remark.
I think it is a matter of priority that the government streamlines the whole import process.
Okay.
Because even if we are to delve into manufacturing, we need to import raw materials. So the process should be streamlined. Import should be streamlined. We need to have clear timelines of when to receive our goods.
All right.
Of the small trader.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay. We have to leave it at that. We are getting into 9 o'clock shortly.
And we've already extended the time because this was a very important conversation to have. The plight of the small-scale traders, like Wahiga said, we'll have them again here, plus some representative to the mediation team between the president and themselves, and Mheshimiwa as well. If they're still complaining about the same things, then we know there's a problem.
That's right. So we have a lot of feedback. Let's take a look quickly at that, because we're getting into the next hour in the next couple of minutes. You don't give us your name, but you say it is easier to import goods purporting that they are on transit and later divert the same to the local market than declare them as for the Kenyan market. KRA, KEBS, ACA, etc. will frustrate you to the core. Bottom line, ni kitu kidogo.
All right. And Joshua Odera says, why can't government think of training its citizens to a level of being experts rather than hiring the experts?
All right, we have a JN Bogwa good program. Kenya has no capacity to manufacture any of the car parts, so we'll import completely knocked down kits and just assemble in Kenya. Until we invest in car equipment and machine manufacturing, it is pure folly to ban second-hand cars. Will benefit the rich and vehicle companies. And I remember a time when Kenya attempted to have its own vehicle. Story for another day.
That's a story. And you don't leave a name. You say, if this country is to progress, we need to change the conversation. The government should walk the talk about promoting local manufacturing. People should be encouraged to go east to import technology and production machinery and zero-rate them to make Kenya an industrial nation.
Okay, some good thoughts there. You don't give us your name, but you say Kenyans need to understand what entrepreneurship is all about. We are so greedy about making money. We forget standards that we set for ourselves. The last time I checked, we imported cows from South Africa. I don't know if that's true. Does it mean extension officers cannot work out ways of having good breeds locally? Then we say, hakuna kazi. Let's go back to traditional ways of making money like pig farming, kuku na ng'ombe, sahi hata mayai, samaki, inatoka China, surely.
All right, let's see what you're saying on Twitter here. We have some feedback coming through to Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag you're using is Daybreak. Is Yula Dennis. He says the problem with Kenya is 1, conflict of interest plays a major role. 2, Jubilee government promised jobs to the youth, yet they're scrapping off the jobs. 3, our leaders have never agreed to do public participation. Kazi ni kujipiga kifua tu on what they want.
Chest thumping.
Yes.
Lydia Mwatete, we need policies that protect the country from foreign infiltration while creating an enabling environment for citizens to do business. For Mheshimiwa to say the world should give us room to grow is total wishful thinking.
Wanguru Mwangi says on the issue of compliance certificates, it's important for traders to know what happens at the supplier side requirements. The inspection companies and KEBS should have been in this program to explain, because many here have no clue. Goods inspected need to be sealed.
Okay, that's actually a very good idea. And finally, Msani Kivi, importing, for example, sugar should stop. Let's resurrect our own sugar.
All right. And that's where we leave it.
That's where we leave it.
Just getting into
we'll
the
be
9.
back shortly.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
We'll be back in the next 10 minutes for the last hour of Daybreak. This is a conversation we'll be having again. Many thanks indeed to our panelists for joining us for this discussion, and to our lovely audience. Asante sana for coming to share your stories of frustration. Next time, we hope you come and share stories of success, that things have gotten better in conjunction with this team here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. That's where we wrap up Daybreak. We'll be back in just a bit with the news updates.